Alright, things are nice and complicated. This is actually only the first of multiple packages. So April's not a month with a lot of anime releases, but I guess today gets to be a major exception to that. Let's see. We're gonna dig these out. Make sure. Jesus, sorry about that. Unfortunately, this is also one of those days where I'm actually recording this the night before, which is not something I usually do. But tomorrow's too busy and packed, and especially with so many packages, it's not like I can like find a 1 hour break or something like that. Yes, this is a Right Stuff package, so this means these are Aniplex DVDs or Blu-rays rather. Well, one Aniplex Blu-ray. Oh, I'm bumping this camera like crazy. Unfortunately, it is hard to this one has sticker here, so I'm gonna take that off real quick. So then I can put this here. Yeah, this is the disadvantage of UPS packages. They tend to like to put stickers all over all the things. Okay, it just stopped working, but I need to, in order to get that out, got a nice tall pile, as you can see. And then we've got one more, which is a smaller box, but this one's actually from Anime Go, which means this is a Kickstarter. Hey, yeah, you remember Kickstarter? That thing that I was a little worried about how deep it felt there, but it didn't feel like it hit anything, so it should be fine. Yeah, that's all of that, and this is all of this. So let's begin with Megazone 23 Blu-ray. I think this is the limited edition version that you get for paying more. So let's begin by getting the old plastic off. So that I can look at the bottom. Let me see, this is a 360 minutes plus extras, a 4x3, which makes sense, it's an older anime. Blu-ray, this is regions A, B, and C, so if y'all are curious, I mean, that's actually some really neat. I guess it wraps around it. It's really neat. Okay, let's turn this upside down so you'll be saving cyberspace. Okay, I was wondering if this was a manga or a booklet with, but it's a booklet with a lot of drawings and keyframes, planning sort of stuff. This liner notes and bonus manga. So there's liner notes and there's a bonus manga. Cool. And then we've got Megazone 23 extras. Japanese commentary featuring Miyakogaku, Miyaogaku, and Sato Hiroki. English. It's kind of actually hard to read. contains all three Megazone 23 films in both English and Japanese, plus the Streamlined Pictures English versions of Part 1 and the Part 2 International Edition. That sounds awfully complete. I don't remember talking about that, but then again, I probably didn't read it too closely, so... So this is sticker. Yeah, this makes sense. I think I once started up Megazone 23, but I never finished, and if I remember correctly, there was a thing about a bike, maybe a transforming bike, unless I'm thinking of Genesis Climber Most Speed Up, but it could have been both. You know what this is? This is a list of backers. So first, oh nice. You got a version of that you can actually hang up on the wall. Then you got this, which, you know, okay, yeah, I guess maybe the bike could transform, or that's something else. You can kind of see here, these are the names of backers. And so I'm going to be on there somewhere. I'd look for it, but doing it on camera seems like it would be kind of timely. And I got a big pile of stuff to go through. So what do we have here? We have disc 1. Disc 2. I'm trying to think if they're describing what's going on, which one has which. And that's a kind of neat inverted thing on the inside. Huh. Well, there we go. It's a really neat release of Megazone 23 Blu-ray. Next up we have Cagaster of an insect cage. Cagaster. Looks kind of intriguing. Wouldn't be the first time I've watched something that looked intriguing but wasn't. Like I think, what was that anime about the 7th Seas or something? So looking on the back, I see Region A, I see all 12 episodes on 2 discs, I see an English dub. They infect you, they infest you, and then you become one of them. That sounds scary. Kind of reminds me of Blue Gender. Is that the right name of that anime? Yeah. I mean, that one wasn't an infect-infest thing, but... But it was about Earth being overrun by giant bugs, basically. Venus Wars, and this is a much fancier release than I expected. But I should have, because now I think about it, the picture wasn't just... Man, I'm not getting any traction on this plastic. Yeah, the picture on Amazon when this shipped wasn't just a simple Blu-ray. Now, granted, I think a part of me just didn't think about it too much and was maybe thinking, oh, maybe it's just a Blu-ray with like an insert or something. So I'm guessing this is a Blu-ray release. None of that says. Well, I'm kind of noticing it's not saying. Now, this is clearly a Blu-ray, so that is a correct assertion. Region A. English dub. It seemed like a perfect world, and then they added humans. Oh wait. Alright, gotta look at the disc. That looks a little upside down. That looks a little right side up. Oh, it's a person. I thought it was some sort of weird ship. I mean, it is a weird ship. Maybe more like a land speeder sort of thing, but... Oh, yeah. I see. There's information. It looked like there was a little bonus comic in there and cool stuff. Next up, Fate Grand Order Absolute Demonic Front Babylonia 1. Come to the land where gods and mankind reside together. I'm trying to get this plastic. I can feel it here. There we go. The edge of the thing next to that section. It's clearly not CC from Code Geass, but right now they kind of look like them. that's better. They don't look anything like them now. I mean, I gotta give them credit. At least these things look cool, even if I know at some level the coolness is only going to feel superficial to me. What am I looking for here? You know, that's all gibberish, probably because it's all upside down. Approximately. There's an English dub. Nothing here saying if it's region A only. But yeah, it's sort of like, I think that's kind of an accurate assessment of a lot of the material. Some of it I think is actually really great. Just getting by looking at the booklet. And sometimes, you know, I like the way they look, but then, like, I wasn't too impressed by Fate Zero. There were neat ideas in there, but I kind of felt like, well, I've talked about it before. That's disc 1. And there's an element of it that's, I think the show thinks it's better than it actually is. And for some people that probably works out because it does some things that don't really excite me from an action perspective. Anyways, I'm not catching up on any of the Fate releases other than keeping them. Submarine Super 99. I'm just wondering if it's related to the Captain Harlock stuff, because it's definitely the same sort of character design. That said, I can't grab the plastic. There we go. Don't you get away from me. I'm trying to decide if that's a bad guy or just a really gruff looking good guy. Strikes me as kind of bad guy. I think that's a region A. It looks like this is Japanese with English subtitles only. Ooh. Yeah, that pretty much confirms. And I say bad guy, but antagonist would definitely be the more correct word at this point. But he looks like he's supposed to be a little unscrupulous, maybe a little less morally supportable, I guess. The kind of person who might say, well, we have a war to win, so let's go to that village of babies and kill them all. And I don't remember if I actually had this on Blu-ray or not, but Lupin the Third, the woman called Fujiko. But, you know, with how few other releases there were here in April, I decided, fuck it. Because, like, next week might only be one thing, or maybe it was the week after. Okay, same on the inside. Back. There's an English dub. Region A. Disc 1. And Disc 2. That's also Blu-ray. Okay, yeah, this is a series, if I remember correctly. Probably actually says back here, yeah, 10 episodes, 12 episodes. Okay, right now, it's just a little blurry to me. So, I need to keep moving forward. Asteroid in Love, the complete series. The name kind of had my curiosity, but now I get a closer look at it. It looks like it's a cute girls doing a cute thing, which I would say doesn't excite me, but in my experience, these kinds of shows can be hit or miss. Not necessarily even bad in their misses, just whether or not I can give them the attention they would need. Heartwarming glimpse into how friends and fate can help you achieve your goals. That actually sounds kind of neat. Regions A and B, English dub. I'll go inside where, oh, plastic. Yeah, because the plastic wasn't on the outside. Okay, yeah, at this point we can just look on the other side. For some reason, even though the character designs look familiar, I can't remember what they look familiar in compared to, so it looks very curiosity inducing. Did I say it was dubbed? What back end it was? Lupin the Third, Missed by a Dollar Blu-ray release. You know, because we've had all these DVD releases, and now Discotech is getting all the releasing all their stuff on Blu-ray too. And fortunately for them, people like me will buy it and let y'all know, hey, there's Blu-ray versions of this. Region A, English. I was having to look at it a little more carefully than I thought, because I thought it was saying French. Missed by a Dollar. It's pretty cool. If you're a Lupin the Third fan, this is definitely nice stuff. Hajime no Ippo, also known as Fighting Spirit Collection 2. I don't remember if I got Collection 1, but I do tend to be thorough in my obtaining of absolutely all the things. I call it Fighting Spirit. It says the fighting here, but the DVD release name was Fighting Spirit, if I'm remembering correctly. I'm looking over at my DVDs, realizing that's where the FAs start, so it's just behind those boxes if it was that. I don't remember. Region A, English dub. Come on, camera focus. And Spanish. Sounds familiar. Time for the second round. It was a neat anime. It's nice when the inside is different. I remember watching all of it and enjoying it. Collection 2 Disc 1 and Disc 2. Oh my gosh. Cyber City Oedo 808. At this point, I mean, I'm looking and I still have like 3 things, including this, to open. And y'all should be able to tell I'm mentally pushing myself. And I'll have to see if I can tell y'all all of it. Region A, English. You know, another oldie release. And it's really nice that the Megazone 23 arrived this day, because it means it came out with all of its slightly aged anime companions. You know, some very cyberpunky sort of stuff. Her face looks familiar. Nobody else's does. I'm not sure if it's the character design or if I've seen this image and kind of misattributed it to Ninja Scroll or something. If I didn't, then it probably means that the character designs are the same as the one from Ninja Scroll. Goblin Slayer, Goblin's Crown. Which is good. Okay. My Friday friend, we didn't know what we were going to watch or do, but I can actually nominate this as something of interest. Yeah, look how tired I am. I'm not even talking about the uncovering of the sexy things. Cool. Looks like my favorite trio of companions are there. Don't know who she is, but that seems like it would be the point. Regions A and B. That looks like an English dub. So if you wanted to watch this and you enjoyed the English dub and you wanted this to come out for the continuity perspective, you would be good. Although I suspect that I'm just late to the party as usual. Okay, yeah, just a simple Blu-ray movie. That's all the people. I had some thoughts, but I don't want to look too closely and think about it too much. Alright. And last but not least, let's scoot all of these over to look at Black Clover Season 3 Part 4. I mean, the good news is I have these Black Clover boxes. The bad news is the only one that I actually have full right now is Season 1. Season 2 boxes over there, empty. And I'm going to do the same thing with this one, I think. What I need to do is I need to dig all the Season 2, Season 3 DVD Blu-rays out, rip them, because that was my criteria for putting them all back there. And I took this off and we haven't looked at it yet, so let me put this glue aside. Take a look. Regions A, B, English dub, all blurry. Cool stuff. So we can take that out, and this is probably part 3. I'm guessing they're going for the midway part in here. Nice and empty. And I'm actually going to take this and set it aside. Regions A and B. Okay, actually I already looked at this on the other thing. Guess they're a kind of cute looking person. They strike me as girl, but they could be guy. And the disc just fell on my foot. I hope it was one of the Blu-ray discs, because those are a little more hardy. Yeah, Blu-ray disc 1. Oh, how lazy of me. Oh, that does not look healthy. Should get that checked out. Lasers to the stomach are not a very healthy way to live. And then DVD 1, DVD 2, and the guy who's apparently doing the blasting through the belly. Alright. Oh. Here's this week's anime DVD collection update. Okay, so the only anime watched this past week was the last 5 episodes of Season 2 of Konosuba. Season 2. The last 5 episodes of Season 2 of Konosuba. And my friend and I, we ended up not watching the special just because timing was that, you know, we weren't going particularly fast. But, you know, it was Konosuba it was funny. I mean, it's me watching it again for the second time, and I thought it was funny. And I think there were some parts in there that actually made my friend smile a little bit. I'm not sure if I can remember what scene though, but you know, it's actually pretty notable because he doesn't tend to laugh, so you know, something that actually gets cracks a smile out of him is good. And you know, there's good visual gags, running gags, just, you know, it's fun. It's a good undermining of, you know, the genre, kind of deconstructy, kind of playing it straight when it does it. Not one of those ones that's like industry changing like some of the others out there, but still one of those ones where it's just like Konosuba. Could always use more Konosuba, because I'm curious what they do with it. All that said, yeah, that was it. And let's see, I don't remember what all I talked about last time, because I think Monster Hunter Rise was a part of it. And part of the reason that was focused and has received so much focus was because this past Wednesday was a work get-together to play Monster Hunter Rise. And, you know, I wanted to put good effort into it because I just put a lot of effort into things that have targeted goals. And so, you know, I had a very specific goal of make sure that I'm maybe not dragging things down. And I was, you know, the Hunter ranks aren't very high. People aren't rushing through things super fast. They weren't then, but, you know, the other guy, so the three of us, I was Hunter rank 2, which is something that happened in single player, which is really nice because normally you play through village quests a lot, and then you're like, oh, well, I've got all this high rank stuff, and I have to go through all these low ranked multiplayer quests. Okay. But this game is a little nicer than that, because if you progress too far ahead in single player, then it's like, yeah, here's your chance to also move forward in multiplayer, so that you can start from a more reasonable position if you want to. And you know, basically meant that I was HR2, another guy that showed up later was HR2, and the third guy was HR3. So we pretty much just did the stuff to get the two of us from HR2 to HR3. And it's a very reasonable game, as in, like, there are things where before, oh, well, if you had an urgent quest to rank up, you just had to do it multiple times, once for each person that needed to do it. But this one's nice enough where if everybody's just there from the start, then they all get credit for it, and everybody who needed to rank up, ranks up. Very, very nice. I keep saying that the multiplayer experience was okay, but that's mostly because, you know, right now we're not focusing on the things about multiplayer that would necessarily be fun, just kind of enjoyable. Not bad, but it does kind of mean, yeah, we were going to get together that week, we're going to get together again on Wednesday this week, and this time I'm not feeling like I need to do as much stuff, but, you know, still putting in a little bit of my own efforts, so that, you know, I'm not wasting other people's time with, oh, let's go construct this one sword that I decided was good. And granted, a lot of this stuff is low rank, but getting that stuff hasn't been too bad. At worst, I've only ever had to fight monsters like twice to get the parts for the specific things I need. I'm not constructing full armor sets, though. I'm putting together hybrid sets here and there, and just kind of slowly putting them together. Because the bonuses haven't struck me as being so awesome that I'm like, oh no, let's go move away from this attack constitution combo armor. But after Wednesday night, I actually didn't play as much Monster Hunter as I would have liked. Maybe a little bit here and there. Just enough to make more progress in 5-star village quests, which I now have the urgent quest. And maybe I'll hopefully do that tomorrow night. We'll have to see the timing of everything. I'm not going to be doing it on stream, because my brother doesn't have it, so we're going to be doing Phasmophobia, probably. Actually, unless I can remind them that there's the new Among Us map, and so maybe we need to play that. I'll have to send that to him tonight, so he has time to maybe get other people. But, well, if we put that aside, part of the complications of all of my time, so after Wednesday, Thursday was actually a work Mario Kart family racing thing, which basically means that people just show up and play Mario Kart, and that's why Thursday night was dedicated to Mario Kart. And what that pretty much means is I actually won a lot of the maps. It's no surprise. I mean, it's not like it's an automatic guarantee that I'll win, but for some reason I have some insight into the game that makes it harder for other people that don't play it a lot to. I don't know, maybe I just played it a lot for the Wii U or something like that, because it's kind of a mystery why I continue to just kind of sit there at front for most of the races with these more casual groups, even though in this case I was actually only being defensive except for one or two little moments. It gets really hard to think, because right, normally if you're in first place, defensive means you're going through the items in order to have items behind you, so that when a red shell comes you can deal with it. It's nice to have the horn thing, but I've kind of found that it doesn't really matter. The blue shell's coming for me eventually anyways. And it's interesting because when it came to 200cc, you know, even though I'm very mistake prone because I'm nowhere near as good at that, I was still way further ahead of everybody, including one of the coworkers who's a very competitive person and is the person that is much more able to consistently challenge me. And, you know, that was one of the other instances where it's just like, oh, if it's him in front of me, I'm okay with throwing a red shell. Which I don't think hit him, but something else hit him. But, you know, there was Mario Kart. Mario Kart 8 is fun. I especially like to have, we had a couple of matches where, like, we went through 4 things with no items, and so it was just kind of a nice, peaceful drive along. Except there was Grumble Volcano. That one's a little dangerous. Oh, okay, so that's Thursday, so Gigafrost, why didn't you watch more anime? Well, Friday was after that, and that was my friend. And, you know, maybe putting in a little bit of Monster Hunter, but I don't even remember if I got any Monster Hunter on Thursday, Friday, because Thursday, Friday were also tiring work days, because I've been pushing the video game so hard, which is also happening again right now, but not as intensely pushing on over the weekends as much, because what started happening on Thursday, and this was mostly just dialogue that was happening Thursday, Friday, but then Saturday, Sunday was when a lot of the real thinking started to happen. My brother, David TKI, y'all might actually, well, I don't know if he's that big, but you might know him. He is a speedrunner, and one of the series of games he really likes to speedrun is Quest for Glory. And we're not unfamiliar with tool-assisted speedruns, but sometimes the kind of focus you need to do on a tool-assisted speedrun is kind of different than the kind of focus you want to do on a speedrun, right? A normal speedrun, you're like playing a game, trying to focus and hone your skills and all that stuff. You know, they're this interesting, different thing. Whereas tool-assisted are more about analyzing the theoretical. And in this case, my brother's been a fan of Quest for Glory, the series. I don't remember if I mentioned that or not. And he's been kind of curious about doing a tool-assisted speedrun of the original release of the very first game, which before the series was called Quest for Glory. Its first release was Heroes Quest. But, you know, that had some name confusion with the board game, famous board game, so they changed the Quest for Glory. But Heroes Quest was in line with Sierra's other blank quests. So you had King's Quest and Space Quest and Police Quest and Heroes Quest turned into Quest for Glory. And some of the interesting things about it are that, basically, so, and my brother's been doing most of the heavy lifting here, mind you. We've been able to start analyzing the code and figuring out how the game does stat checks. So, like, if you want to climb the wall to get outside of the town, it checks it against the value 35. And this doesn't mean that the value has to be 35. This only means that you have to make a skill check that is at or above 35. And what that means specifically, we were able to reverse engineer this, is it basically chooses a random number between 1 and 200, compares that to your luck skill. If your luck skill is greater than or equal to the chosen random value, then it adds a boost to your stat between 1 and 20. So in theory, if you only had 15 climbing, you could hit both of those random numbers perfectly, and it would say, alright, I'm comparing to 35. Oh, I got 35. I made it over the wall. So even though you're 20 points under, you can still make it. And it's interesting because a lot of these values my brother's been looking up are, oh, these are the feelings that the community generally has. But we're actually verifying it, reverse engineering the code. Stat level up is interesting because it has this numerator-denominator thing. The denominator it's basically values 2, 4, or 6, depending on how far away from the skill check target you were. So if you try to do something that's very high skill for you, you might get absolutely no points because your stat is just way too low. You might get numerator divided by 2 if you're really, really close. So the idea is you level up when you're faster when you're close to it, and then slows down when you get past it. And the numerator really depends on the stat because most of them have a default of 10, but others have a combination of other stats such as strength and agility for climbing. And it scales them and then tends to divide so they get scaled, added, and then divided. And there's a system in there that adds experience to those as well. But the main point is that your stats actually have experience points, and they remember them. And the stat is based on numerator divided by denominator. So if we went with a stat that was one of the basic stats, whose numerator is always 10, for example, if you were within 10 points either direction of the skill check target, then you would get 10 divided by 2 equals 5 points. If you were within 30 and not 10, then that would be division by 4, which would be 2. So you'd get 2 XP. If you were within 50, it'd be a division by 6, which would be 1. And this is integer division, so if this doesn't sound right, just remember it's whole number division and you throw away the remainder. So you can get 5, 2, or 1 experience depending on that. And the way it applies experience is when the accumulated experience is greater than or equal to the stat, then you level up. It removes enough there to leave the remainder, and then the stat goes up by a random number between 1 and 3. So it could go up by 1, 2, or 3. And it repeats this until the stats gained experience is below the stat value itself. So if the stat value, if you gain a ton of experience, you can level up multiple times, and you can. I probably shouldn't say that. So the entire point of all this stuff is we now understand that stuff, and after a lot of churn, we've verified that the random number generator is actually pretty much the same as the Space Quest 3 one, which is actually a little bit of a buggy random number generator, and it's slightly worse than the Space Quest 2 one, but not as buggy as the Colonel's Behest one. I mean, the Colonel's Behest one was okay, but it sounded like there was a pirated version of it that broke the random number generator, and I think a lot of people who grew up on the game grew up with a broken random number generator, and when they play that game in Scum VM, well, the random number generator was part of the sci0.exe file, so it's part of the kernel of the SCI system. And since Scum VM is its own implementation of the kernel, that basically means it has the fixed random number generator, which generates real random number values, and all of a sudden it sounded like new people playing Colonel's Behest were seeing a completely different game, which actually has random numbers, which is interesting. I don't know what the game itself is like myself, but there's a lot of stuff in here where we were able to confirm basically by looking at the bytecode and comparing it to bytecode from another game that had been correctly identified as a random number generator, and we were able to verify this is a random number generator. Okay, and here's how it seeds it. Here's the emulator. Here's how the real-time clock is done. And we figured some of that stuff out, but my brother, first, the more important thing is he was able to locate where in memory that random number generator value is. And it was interesting because first he identified it and he was able to kind of modify to verify, oh yeah, look, there's that perfect plus 20 to strength roll, so the boulder got moved. So, he was able to do a proof of concept of that and some other things. Like, according to our analysis of the code, Mage's Maze has a chance of locking up if a certain bad RNG cycle is chosen. See, I mentioned the RNG is bad, and that's because it does something which doesn't guarantee that you'll visit all possible random number values underneath the covers no matter where you start, because you'll be in little isolated loops. Like, all these random numbers will cycle through each other over and over, while these will cycle through themselves over and over, and there's little islands all over the place. But there's one that, actually, technically there's a handful that never change, so the random number value would always be the same. And because of the way Mage's Maze generates its stuff, it is very possible for it to just get stuck in an infinite loop, because it's actually looking for the random number generator to say, okay, let's try and place this object. Have I placed it yet? No, then I'll roll again until I get something I haven't placed. So that's how it chooses 4 random boulders, for example. And that's all very interesting. And tonight we kind of had a practical application where my brother had a theoretical idea for what something that might be a better a better 80% maybe. Problem is we're not sure if we're saving enough time to guarantee that we're actually going to make certain events happen. But anyways, the interesting thing about it is he did just do a proof of concept tonight where I was able to identify one of the random number starting seeds that he did as being actually pretty close to being able to make his strength check against the rock that I mentioned earlier. It wasn't a perfect 20. He's got a setup where he only needs 15 or higher, and I have a program on here that I use to kind of look for possible targets. And we actually found one where from the beginning of the game, if you start with a certain real-time clock value and you do, I guess he found out he had to do like 3 or 4 manipulations to the random number generator along the way, but he was able to just kind of blast through it and just go through the rock, which is pretty cool. But as you can tell, a lot of that stuff is reverse engineering SCI code, which isn't exactly a specific language. It's specific to the SCI stuff, and I've been helping with that. I get distracted really easily, so I haven't even spent much time on VR chat. But guess what? If all that sounds exhausting from a video gaming perspective, well, that isn't even the only thing I did, because earlier in the week, I'm busy so I can't help the person there, but one of my internet friends was interested in visiting my Animal Crossing island and getting some of the flowers, because I breeded them. I spent the time to breed all of the varieties so that I could get any of them I wanted, or other people could get any of them that they wanted. Cool beans. And the problem was that I hadn't played in 7 months, so there was also a good amount of time kind of reacquainting myself with the game while that scary bunny was there, and because it was Easter weekend, and trying to remember what I was doing, because now that I fire it up I'm like, oh yeah, I wasn't quite done, because I have 2 Switches, so I have 2 copies of the game. My main copy is on my Switch Lite, the idea being that that one's portable and can be dedicated to being that if I really wanted to, and my main Switch is actually on my secondary island, but for a lot of my time playing the game I kept my secondary island purposely neutered, because if I just kept it near the beginning, then if I ever wanted to sell anything, I could just travel to that secondary island and go in the tent and sell them to the creepy little kid raccoon things. Yeah, and I'm really bad with names right now because I am completely exhausted and I shouldn't be recalling absolutely everything all at once. That was just keep it that way and take advantage of the space. I don't have to care as much about making sure everything is preserved for the ideal island to be decorated. And that's still the case, but at a certain point I'm just like, I've done so much in the game that at this point I don't need a second island up and running. Oh, and obviously the other thing I did was I have them on different hemispheres, so I can take advantage of both hemispheres at the same time if I want to. But yeah, so at a certain point I'm like, okay, I'm going to start moving forward with just doing the stuff. I guess the idea, and maybe I'm misremembering, but I seem to recall the idea is I wanted to unlock terraforming so that I could clean up some of the misshapenness of the island and make it be able to be a perfect place for all of my flowery needs. Like, it doesn't need to do anything too complicated now because it has the ability to breed everything, but it would be nice to just organize everything one last time and basically just organize things one last time. And I was really surprised that the island wasn't in more disrepair. It's a really nice thing, the game. I think they want to make sure you feel like you can come back. So if you haven't touched your Animal Crossing in like 7 months like I have, you can just come back. My 5-star island is still 5-star. People didn't move away. There wasn't anybody that was talking about moving away the same day. I did get one second day. Third day? Second day was an event, so probably nobody would try to move away then. But it means I get to keep all the animals that I'm like, yeah, I like these animals. Even the creepy chicken guy, he's you know, my chicken. But it means that I am playing Animal Crossing very lightly, mind you, because I don't need to decorate anything on my first primary island. I just need to fire that game up in order to go to the other island and water the plants, because I need to replenish the stuff that was acquired by friends, which I'm successfully doing. It's, you know, it's not hard. It's just, you know, I'm also spending time doing that while doing this other stuff. Fortunately, at this point, I think it's just the lilies being stubborn. Yes, those are tulips. So it's the lilies being stubborn. They haven't bred anymore at this point. Assuming I'm remembering correctly, that visitors up the chance by 20%, then you up it by 5%. In theory, it's a 75% chance per thing that a thing will grow. And that's a 5 things have a 75% chance, if I'm mathing correctly. Maybe 75% was always the highest. But at this point, it should start giving me valuable stuff. Let's see, I got the 3 houses built. 3rd animal moves in tomorrow. At which point I probably need to find out if the main building... I need to take a look at the steps to make sure I'm not about to forget a step. Because I think in order to get to 3 stars, I need to have at least 7 animals. So I think that starts happening after the town hall is built. And once the town hall is built, I think I know where I can put 2 more animal buildings. That should get me to my 7 residents that I want. And then I get the ending thing, which will unlock terraforming, and then I can delete a lot of these rivers. And then I'll need to put rivers back because, you know, it's one of those useful things about multiple hemisphere stuff. And here I am, standing up to scratch my back. Look, that's how absent-minded I am. I've been doing a lot of stuff. I've been talking. How long have I been talking? You poor, poor people. Sorry about that. I mean, you'll probably like it if you're this far, but... oh my gosh. Tomorrow's going to be a busy day. Lots of meetings. One of which I run. Alright. Y'all, hang in there.